What's up, resellers? I'm Rebecca, and you are watching Rebecca the Reseller. Thanks for joining me today for a highly requested video and one I've been really wanting to make, and I finally think I'm ready to share it with you. Here goes nothing. It is my Thredup spreadsheet video. I said that slow because I felt like in my head I was going to get tongue-tied with it. So, Thredup spreadsheet video. So lots of us have started Thredup. It's all really because, in my opinion, for my experience from Chriselle's course on how to be successful with Thredup. There's a link down below to get a discount. If you have not signed up for the Thredup course, I highly recommend it. I've done a bunch of videos highly recommending it. She did a great job. And for those that didn't think that you could really make actual money with Thredup, that course shows you exactly how and gives you all the tools and all the confidence that you need to know exactly what you're doing. As soon as you're done with the course, or as soon as I was done with the course, I sent in my boxes. I kept sending in my boxes. I did exactly what she told me to do. I thought about it the way she told me to think about it. And since then, I've kind of extrapolated and done my own thing a little bit. But that initial, like as soon as you're done with the course to starting it, you know exactly what to do to actually make money. And it was like completely different than how I handled Thredup before, when I just sent things in and hoped for the best. I had no idea all the tips and tricks that she shares with you on like how to actually make money. So I highly recommend it. There's a link down below. If you haven't taken the course, go take the course. It is well worth your money. You will make it back. Since then, I've been doing this now since March. I think the end of March, I sent in my first boxes. And so now it's like mid-August. So whatever that is, like 5 months. And it took about 3 months of consistently weekly sending in boxes. And that was what I committed to do. Like I wanted to weekly send in boxes. You don't have to, you can do what you want, but I weekly sent in boxes, and it took about 3 months by the time they processed them, by the time they figured out they're transitioning out of the Lux program into the where you have to pay for expedited and all of this stuff. It took about 3 months for me to start seeing daily payments, because you have to get all your stuff in there. They have to process it. It has to get listed, and then it has to sell, get delivered, and the return window has to pass. And so from start to finish, that took about 3 months for those things to start hitting. And then I've been getting daily payouts. I mean, not every day, every other day, whatever. It just depends on when things hit and clear. But the payouts are coming very regularly now, to where it's not exactly the same as Poshmark, but it took me a long time to build up my Poshmark too. But it's getting very similar in dollar amount, in consistency of counting on those sales to be coming through. And there've been some definite wins. If you haven't seen any of my prior videos on Thredup, I had, a $468 payout on a Michael Kors sweater for a $3 investment. I've had things that I make, $2 on, it is what it is. You have to learn what makes sense. You have to learn the nuances of the platform and what works for you and what you're able to get your hands on and your cost of goods. But none of that matters if you can't figure any of it out, because you can't track it. And so what I've been doing over the last 5 months is I started a mega spreadsheet. And then little by little, I played with it and tweaked it to come down a little bit, because I didn't want to be a slave to the spreadsheet. I hate that. I hate putting in all of this information. It drives me nuts, but I want the information. When I had a VA, not for Thredup, but for Poshmark, etc., other platforms, she did all my data entry, and man, do I miss that. I got rid of her so that I could be more free, focus on my stuff, do what I needed to do, not have all the costs, and just kind of like streamline my efforts. And I'm happy that I did that, but I totally see where I could have a VA help with this spreadsheet. I could give a VA access to the website. She could go in there and pull in everything that needs to get pulled in, and I wouldn't have to do this. And perhaps that's where I'm going to go with it in the future. Right now, I don't need it, but I could definitely see how a VA could help populate your spreadsheet and do all the data entry for you. So what I want to do is show you my spreadsheet, a couple of things in my spreadsheet, and then I'm going to share with you the sample spreadsheet that I have that is going to be available in my Etsy store for purchase. And so just to briefly show you this so I could close these windows, this is my Etsy store. If you're not familiar, I have an Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/Rebecca the Reseller. It's all my reseller tools that I've made for my own business, and then I make them available to you for purchase. Pick and choose what you like. I think they're all pretty inexpensive. I think they're all valuable. You know, I use them myself. My keywords list I made for myself. The closet signs I make. The closet reviews, obviously I do those for other people. The listing forms I used myself. Like I have a ton of stuff. I'm adding things all the time. And this Thredup spreadsheet is now the newest thing. I've got 5-star feedback and over 260 sales. So check that out for all kinds of things. A lot of it's for Poshmark. This spreadsheet's going to be my first Thredup one, so I'm really excited. So I'm going to close that. This is what the listing is going to look at. Right now it's in draft, and as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to put my link in here and then make that live and then put that link in the video. It's like do the chicken or the egg thing, but this is what it's going to look like with kind of like the Thredup color instead of the Poshmark color. So it's going to be a Google sheet. So I just wanted to show you that. It's going to be $9.99 for now. I want to see how it goes. I think it's more valuable, but I'm a big fan of doing like introductory pricing. And I also do run sales in my Etsy store often. So I think what I'll do is I'll start it out at $9.99. It may not be on sale. Some sales will run, and then perhaps I'll bump it up to $14.99 is where I kind of think I want to put it. Maybe $19.99, I'm not sure, but I'm starting it at $9.99. So if you're interested, go get it as soon as it's up when this video is up, because that will be the lowest it probably will ever be. So, and I don't mean to be like all salesy person. I want to get a value for the time and effort that I put into it and what I think the value it brings to you and what I would pay for something. And I would pay 20 bucks. I'd probably even pay 25 bucks for a spreadsheet tracker that I'm going to use all the time. But I'm not a gougy kind of person, and I want it to be manageable for you. So I'm not the best on pricing things. So, okay, so let's show you the spreadsheet. So I have a couple of tabs in here. Now this is the one that I work in. Then I'm going to show you the actual one that you would get when you buy it, which has some sample data in there so you know what to put where, but it's more clean and clear. You don't need all my stuff in there. So the first thing is the kit tracker. So this is a one-stop snapshot where you input information and this will track all of your kits or your boxes or your bags or whatever you call them, the thing that you send in. So I have an internal box number. I have the kit number that Poshmark issues you. I just copy and paste that in. Then I have what type it is. Like, was it a Luxe? Was it nothing? Did I not pay anything and it wasn't Luxe? Is it EPRA, which is expedited processing and return assurance? Some of them I just paid return assurance. So tracking what type of kit it is. And then I will show you in the other one, I've hidden columns because there's some things that I'm no longer tracking. Like in the beginning, I tracked everything, and now I'm condensing it down because there's some stuff that I don't necessarily need. But in the one that's available for purchase, it has everything. So if you do want to track everything that I started out with tracking, you can. I just don't want to track all of it anymore. I didn't think it was as important, but it is there for you if you want to. So I've hidden some columns here. So I just have the completed date. So this is when Poshmark says it's finished processing. That's the completed date that I put in here. And I put any of the fees. So if it was return assurance, I put $10.99. If it was return assurance and expedited, I put $26.99. That's how I can keep track of all my fees. So if you see here, so far in fees, $1,000 and $1,053.58 is how much I've paid in fees. This is going to really come into play as I decide, is Thredup worth it? Is what I'm doing with Thredup worth it? Should I only be sending in more expensive things? Should I be sending in more lighter things? Like, I'm just tracking it all right now. I'm not making any decisions yet, but there will come a time very soon where I do make some determinations about how I handle Thredup going forward because of the fees. I'm not complaining about them. It's the cost of doing business, but I'm just saying I may make some tweaks and changes of how I do things because of the fees. Then what I do is when you look at your kits in the Thredup website, you can actually copy and paste the kit web address or web link. So I'll show you if I click on this, this is going to take me directly to this kit, which I just only figured this out, and I wish I had figured it out at the beginning, but I didn't know. Now I do. So it takes you directly here, and this is great because their website is kind of clunky, kind of a pain in the neck. It only shows you so many kits at a time. You have to click around a lot. Like, I don't like it. Going through and clicking through all of your kits to see what's going on is very time consuming. And since I put the links in the spreadsheet, it saved me a ton of time. So when the kit is processed, I put the link in here and I put the date in here. Then the date will automatically populate these once I copy the formulas in. So when I show you the actual one that you're gonna get if you purchase it, these will all automatically populate when you copy the formula, and it's all based on the completed date. So what I've done is make a preset determination. Excuse me, I need a drink. I didn't have breakfast. I get a little shaky sometimes when I don't have anything. So I have 14 days, I drop the price. Like, once it's been listed and processed, 14 days later, I drop the price. 30 days later, I drop the price. 45 days later, I drop the price. 55 days later, I will drop the price and possibly reclaim it if I don't drop it. And that's 5 days before 60 days, which is, some of them are going to be done at 60 days, right? Because they give you a 60-day window or a 90-day window. So, sorry, I just for a second panicked that I wasn't recording this. That happens all the time. So at 55 days, that's 5 days before the 60-day. So if something is listed for 60 days and hasn't had any holds on it, it's 5 days from being finished. And so if you don't reclaim it within that time frame, and I know it's really 7 days that you can do it, but I've just put 5 days. So that way it keeps everything kind of even. So 5 days, I'm going to go in and start reclaiming things. But I also want to look at what other kits have things to reclaim so I can make the most of my reclaims. I'm doing a separate video on my reclaim process. I'm not talking about that process here. This is just about the spreadsheet. So 55 days is when I'm going to be paying attention to things that need to be reclaimed from the 60-day selling window. At 60 days, I'm going to drop prices on things that are longer. 75 days, I'll drop prices. 85 days, we're now 5 days before the 90-day window. I'm going to do the same thing, either reclaim it or drop it or whatever, like I did at the 60 window. And it also helps you catch up any ones that extended from the 60 window. As people put them in their cart, they get reserved, but if they don't get purchased, they add time to your listing. So when you get into the 85 range, that's when I make some notes. Like here, I need to make sure that I'm reclaiming these items by 8/13. So today's 8/11. So in 2 days, I have to be reclaiming those items or I'm going to lose those things. These up here that say complete, those are complete. So they're still showing to me, but everything's either been sold or reclaimed. There's nothing else live in there or that I need to pay attention to. And that's when I make them red. So it's red when it's like finished. So what I do on a daily basis every morning is I look at this sheet and I go down and see anything that's not red, is it today's date? So this I have to deal with on the 15th. This I'm dealing with on the 15th. These I'm dealing with on the 13th, the 20th. Aha, the 11th. I need to deal with this on the 11th. So what I'm going to do is open this up and see what I need to deal with. Let's see. First, let me get rid of this other one so that way that's not confusing me. All right, so what's going on in here? I have 19 things listed. Aha. So some are on the 90-day window, like those closed cords. So that's 36 days, so I don't have to worry about that. But here, Land's End jacket, I have 6 days. So this needs to get reclaimed. Now, I just did reclaims the other day, and I did that video, and that's going up. So I'm not going to actually do the reclaiming process here on this video. If you want to know about that, go to that other video to find that out. But what I would be doing if this was this morning, when I go through everything, is I would be reclaiming these. I would probably, before I actually do it, look at everything else and just see so I can make sure that I make a good 35 max item of reclaims. But I would go through this and I would reclaim all the things that are about to go by the wayside. So I have several items on here, 6, 8 days, 6 days. So it's not too many, but it's a good handful. So I have some items here that need to be reclaimed. Also, what I would be doing at this time is dropping the prices of the items that aren't getting reclaimed that are on the 90-day window. So on these Valentino pants, I'd be dropping the price. On St. John pants, I'd be dropping the price. So basically, when I click on it, if I see that date is today, I'm gonna go through and either reclaim or drop prices. Pretty much that's the only things that I'm doing. So I would be doing that for that. Then the next one is the 13th. So this is the 11th. So let's click into this one. He's calling me, but I'm not answering you. So this one, again, same thing. Now, it is also on the 55 day. So this is going to be reclaimed. So here, Calvin Klein dress, that needs to be reclaimed, but the Eileen Fisher top just needs to be dropped in price. And sometimes I don't drop the prices, but what I'm starting to learn is that if you're not actively dropping the prices in the beginning, no one might be seeing your listings later because they just get less and less relevant. And so there might be people with Eileen Fisher tops that are cheaper. And so if I want this one to sell in this listing window and not get it back and not have to send it in again, I want to try to sell this. And I would make $105 on this top. I'm okay with making less, you know, and no one can send me an offer. It's not Poshmark. So if I want this to sell, I have to drop the price or be okay with taking it back, sending it back in again. But what I've been thinking about is I should try to get it to sell on the first round. I'd rather take a little less money and get it to sell on the first round than to pay possibly to get it back or use my points to get the reclaims back and then send it back in again and potentially pay. So that's my thought on that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going down this kit sheet and looking on a daily basis of what do I need to deal with, and just keep working through the, you know, from left to right on these dates, dropping prices as needed. If I was finished with this, I would make this red. So that way I knew that that was completed for the day. And then I would keep going down. And then all the dates should get later and later as you go through because they're new and new and new kits. So, yes. So, and then as I send in a kit, I add it here. So these have all been sent in, this 41 through 54. Those have all been sent in, but none of them have been processed yet. So I have no processing date and I have no link. And that's why they have no dates over here. Once I know that it's been processed, that's when I add the process date, I add the link, and I populate these dates over here based on the formulas, which all you have to do is just copy and paste a prior row. I would just copy and paste this row and put it in this row, and the formula will copy. And that's how that all gets populated, and that's how I know what to do every day. So daily, I'm going through my kits spreadsheet. Now, once a week, usually on a Monday, and you can do it whenever you want, I am processing, where's my stuff? What's happening? There it is. I was like, whoa, where'd everything go? So once a week, usually a Monday, is when I'm dealing with Thredup stuff. So I'm sending in boxes, I'm packing up boxes, I'm making my packing lists, sending in those boxes, and I'm also going back and updating sales. I'm only updating sales once a week. That's how I choose to do it. You can do it on a daily basis. But so since the very beginning, this is my master sheet. This is where every single thing that I have sent in a Thredup has been written down. So I have, again, things hidden here, and I'll show you in the other one all of them, but for my purposes, I put whether it's new or used, I put the brand, I put the item, you know, type, dress, pants, whatever, the size, the color. I used to put if it was luxe or not. Now I don't worry about that. The retail value, you can continue to put the retail value. I've recently decided to stop putting the retail value and see if there's any repercussions, because I don't know how important that is. It was recommended and I did do it. but it took a while. And so I've decided to stop doing it for right now, see if it matters. And if it does, I'll start again. And if not, then I won't keep doing it. I assign my boxes an internal box number. So that's like, so I know how many boxes I've sent into Thredup. This was my very first box I sent in. That was internal box 1. That was the first box. I'm now up to, today I'm about to send in my 55th box. It's crazy. And then the box kit, bag, whatever number that's assigned by Thredup, I copy and paste it in there. Now, I also have A or R, which means accepted or rejected. In the beginning, I was tracking every single item to the T of whether when they, send you back your rejects and when they show you what's listed, I would write down if it was accepted or rejected. I've since stopped. So as I go down, I'm no longer including that. It's just a lot of upkeep, and I don't think it's necessary right now for me to be doing that. I may go back to it, but right now I cannot manage it. So has that item been accepted or rejected? Then sold. So when an item sells, I write sold. So this loft skirt has sold. That's where I wrote it. The payout, whatever they're paying me, I put that there, and the sold date goes in there. Maybe I will not track all of this. Maybe I will. I don't know. But for right now, I still am tracking that it's sold, what the payout was, and what the sold date was. Then I don't have anything else. And then up here, I have it totaling up the payout number. So this is like the sum of all of column R. So it's totaling up everything I've been paid out. Now this is a week behind because today is, no, I did it yesterday. So today's Tuesday, I did this yesterday. So this is up to date as of yesterday. So as of yesterday, I have been paid out almost $3,600. Now, if you remember, just to make the point, it says here that I've been assessed $1,053 in fees. So about a quarter to a third of fees. And that's the fees, not really the, like the other selling fees. Like this is based on the payout that they give you. So it's just information if you wanted to know how much you're making and whatever, that's how you could figure that out, which is not the topic of this video. So that's everything I'm tracking in the master. As I go down, here's box number 2 and things that I've sold. And so it just keeps going down. I just keep entering. Sometimes I color code things when I'm trying to like pay attention to them or whatever. But so this spreadsheet just goes down and down and down and down and down, all the way down to my 55th box that I'm working on. And so that's how I track every single item, and how I keep a master, how I know what I'm making as far as sales, and how I know what I'm paying in fees. The other thing I have is a template, which is how I make up my packing list. So the other things are just notes. So that's how I'm using it. Now what I'm going to do is go to this, which is the actual spreadsheet that if you're interested in purchasing, what it would be like. And that way too, and the reason why I'm showing this is because if you don't want to deal with all this, just purchase the spreadsheet from me. Like it's done, it's made, you can just start populating it. But if you're a pretty handy person and you know Excel and you want to spend the time and you're doing in Excel or doing it in Google Sheets, and this is a Google Sheet by the way, then do it yourself. Like I'm not requiring or totally pushing that you buy my thing. I make it available because I made it for myself. And if someone doesn't want to deal with it or doesn't know how to, they can buy it. But if you know how to do it, then make it yourself, of course. Like, don't be silly. I'm not that salesy of a person. So this is the first thing. This is the kit snapshot. And basically what I did is I made yellow the sample data. That way you could know how to populate it yourself. You can just delete those once you start populating it with your own information, but it has the internal box number, so you can just start assigning those. The kit number, you would just copy and paste that in there. The type is either L, nothing, return assurance, expedited processing, or both. So you can just put that in as it makes sense. Now, I used to track, these were some of the hidden columns that I no longer track. But you can, when you sent it, when it was received, when it started processing, and when it was completed. Right now I'm only tracking this completed, but in the beginning I would actually track it the whole way because I wanted to get a feel for the time and how long it took and whatever. But now I don't care. It all is kind of like is what it is. So you can just delete those columns if you don't want to track them or hide them or whatever. But you need to keep the completed one in order for the other columns and formulas to work. I used to track, these are also parts that have been hidden on mine that I showed you that are available if you purchase it, accepted or rejected. I used to want to see like how many were accepted, how many were rejected out of a box. Excuse me, I had a burp. Accepted or rejected. I don't track that anymore. It is what it is. I don't want to spend the time. I don't want to count them up. I don't want to deal with it. So if you want to, you have a place to put that. Did you get your rejects back? Yes, that's a way to just keep track of like, do I have rejects coming back? Where are all my items? What's going on? So when you get the rejects back, if you have return assurance, of course, you would put yes there. Then this I would track listed, pending, sold. This is information that you can find here. So you have listed, sold, and then if you had any pending, it would be in between, I think. So I just would track like 19 listed, 8 sold, 0 pending. That way I knew what was going on with that kit at any time. However, I just felt like I was kind of a slave to the spreadsheet, and so I stopped tracking that. But if you wanted to, if you're in the beginning, you don't have that many kits, you really want to get a feel and an understanding, it would be great to populate that information. Earnings, same thing. You could get the information as far as earnings. I'm going to move this spreadsheet over here so that I can easily click on it. So earnings, you can see right here in your payout area. You can also see what your fees are as well. So you could put that in your spreadsheet so that you have a record of it, and that would be there. So I don't track that here because I have my total earnings on the master. So it's up to you. And then fees, the same thing here. There aren't any, but you would just enter those fees as you know that you occur them. And then reclaim, if you wanted to make any notes about reclaiming, like yes, you've reclaimed or how many you've reclaimed or whatever, I am not, you can. Here's where you can paste the link so that you can easily click into it like I did before. All the links are here and you can easily click into each link and open up that particular kit. So here's where the formula comes in. And so these are the ones that you don't really want to mess with. Let me just move this over so you can see. So they're all based on the completed date. So as long as you have this completed column filled in with the date that it was completed processing, and then all you have to do is copy these to the next one, it will populate. Right now it's saying 0 because there's no date. But if I put today's date in, 8/11, now it's populating with the appropriate dates based on the formula, which is 14 days, 30 days, 45 days. So it's basically just taking the completed date and adding that many days that it says at the top. So if you ever mess it up, you can always kind of, you know, rejigger it. But so as long, all you have to do is copy and paste the row before it down to the next one and then put in the completed date and it will populate everything for you. And then you can add your notes here at the end. So that's the kit snapshot, the kit tracker. Then for the master, there are a few things that were hidden on mine that I'm no longer tracking, but you can and are available to you if you purchase the sample tracker. So source. So I used to keep track of, did I pull it out of my Poshmark inventory and send it to Thredup, or was it a new item that is unlisted? Because for a while I was doing both. Now I'm just doing, I buy things, I send them to Thredup. There is no more Poshmark involved. Everything has been sent. But for you, you may have a variety of sources that you want to track. Maybe a particular thrift store. Maybe you purchased it online one-off. Maybe you got it in a liquidation or whatever. You can put your source there. You can put a link there. So when I was using Poshmark from my inventory that I had on Poshmark to send things to Thredup, I put it not for sale. So let's say I had a Chico's blazer on online on Poshmark, and I wanted to send it to Thredup and see if it sells there. I would make it not for sale on Poshmark, put the link here, send it to Thredup, see what happens. If I wanted to eventually take it out of the Thredup circle and put it into Poshmark again, all I would have to do is make that listing live again for sale. I wouldn't have to redo everything. So all my measurements, all my photos would still be there, and I would have the link here. You could also search for it, but I would put the link there just so it was handy. You also have your COG, or your cost of goods. So if you pay different things for different items, you could track that here just for yourself to know. I have since stopped doing that. I pretty much just go over an average sale price. So that's kind of how that works. But for you, you can track it there. So this is where my spreadsheet picks up. So those were the columns that were hidden. New. So if the item is new or used, I put that there. The brand, the item type, the size, the color, if it's Luxe or not Luxe. Again, that doesn't really matter so much now. The Luxe program is on hold. The retail value, your internal box number, your Thredup assigned bag number or box number or kit number, whatever you want to call it. Accepted or rejected if you choose to use that. Sold, the payout amount, the sold date, and then this column here, this column here is totaled. So there's a formula for this total area here. So this will automatically sum column O. So as long as you enter the things, the payouts here, then it will continue to tally up there and give you a total price. And if you ever wanted to break it down by like what sold per month or whatever, you can use these dates and set up a separate formula for that. I'm not doing that. I don't need to know on a monthly basis because I know what my payouts are. I can go to my PayPal account and see Thredup paid me $1,200 or whatever, and I can see that. So I'm not needing to track that. But this is where this is my master. Every single item that gets sent to Thredup gets recorded here. Now, as I build a box, as I enter, everything here for box number 1, I want to send in a packing list to Thredup. That way I have a record of what was sent to Thredup. They have a record of what was sent in that box. And should anything happen to that box, I have proof that's what was in that box, just in case. And so what I usually do is I record everything in here for that box, and then I will copy it and put it in the packing list template. And what you want to do is add your Thredup email account, your name, your bag number, the kit number that you're sending in, and then for me, I put my internal box number, and then you copy and paste everything from the master into here. So whatever items you are going to send in, let's say you have, up to here, 25 items, I would just copy and paste. I'm pointing, but you can't see me pointing. I would just select all of this. So let's say there's 25 items. I would copy all of that and I would paste it here. And now it's all here. And then I would print this page and I would save one for me and send one in the box with the items to Thredup. And that way you can keep like this header the same, and all you have to do is change out the bag number. This is set to tally all of the numbers here. So like if you just keep entering 1 all the way down for how many items are there, this where it's red will tally how many items. So you don't have to count how many items are in the box. You'll just get an automatic tally. All you have to do is just enter the number 1 next to any items. So again, if I have items up to 25, I would enter a 1 all the way to 25. Now again, you know that that's 25, but if you just entered a 1 wherever there was text here, it would automatically tell you that you have 20 items because this is through 25 row, but it only started here. So you actually only have 20 items. So for me, that was a nice easy step to do my packing lists. And then you can just copy and paste and clear it out and copy and paste, and it acts as a template. And so as you continue with your master, you're going to go down, there's going to be box 2 over here. Then you're going to go down, you're going to have box 3. Every time you're working on it, you just copy those columns and rows out, put them in your packing list template, print out that page, send it off with your box. So I know this was a long video. I hope that I didn't confuse you. I hope that I have showed you exactly what I'm tracking and exactly how I'm tracking it. And if you want to make your own spreadsheet using exactly all of this, go for it. If you are someone that doesn't want to deal with it, doesn't know how to do it, doesn't know how to do the formulas or anything like that, and you just want to buy mine, I'd love it. Go to the Etsy store and purchase it's going to be a link down below. Go ahead and purchase the only Thredup product I have at this time. It's the Thredup Inventory and Sales Tracker. Again, I'm going to start it out at $9.99. It may go up in the future, so get it now if that is something that you're interested in. Let me know what you think of it, or if you have any improvements that you think I should make. But I feel like this is really working for me. Like I said, I've been doing this 5 months now, and I've been messing around with my spreadsheet. I'm giving you more columns than I'm still tracking, so you can be even more detailed than I am at this point. You can get rid of whatever you want to get rid of. It's fully editable. Yes, customizable. And I really hope it helps you, because Thredup is great. There's so much great that can come from it, but it is really confusing, and their website really is kind of difficult to navigate, and it's kind of hard to know what's going on with things. So you just want to go ahead and try to track it as best as you can. So I really hope that this helps with that. I hope you've gotten some value from this. Go ahead and like this video on your way out so YouTube can tell other resellers about it. Subscribe to the channel so we can hang out again. If you are a subscriber, thanks for coming back. And leave me a comment down below, and don't forget to go and purchase the spreadsheet. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.